nice evening, who's ever reading this, who's ever listening to this, who's ever watching this. I am currently streaming live on YouTube. I'm on my Facebook right now and currently recording my third podcast. And today I'm going to be focusing on this awesome book. It's called Do Hard Things. It's written by an Alex and Brett Harris when they were teenagers, written to a teenage audience. I'm also going to be talking about some other issues, but really fast, in case you didn't know, you are tuned into That Girl, Jenna Karasoa, here on Anchor FM podcast. I'm also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to change platforms, here's your chance. Again, Jenna Karasoa, if you're interested, I also have a blog. It's jennakarasoa.blogspot.com. So if you don't want to hear me talk, you can read the overview of these podcasts. So let me just jump right into it. Whenever you're reading this, seeing this, or hearing this, I hope and pray you're having a good time and that your day went well. Mine's been up and down all over the place. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Like I said before, I only apologize to you guys if I've wasted your time and you can't get anything from it. I obviously can't control your feelings or at this point it's irrelevant. I'm just here giving you information and different perspectives. You can take what you want from it. Ultimately, there's like a million other podcasts you could be listening to. For some reason, you're here listening to me stream and run my mouth. So here I am, and let me just jump straight into it. So, like I said, I'm going to be discussing this really cool book I've been reading. I got it from the library, and I must say, um, yeah, with this book, I got it from the library. I must say, I'm quite challenged by it because I know as a Christian, I'm called to do things and to rise above the occasion and to strive for excellence and go the extra mile. Yes, that's good, all in good fun theory. It's difficult. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for anyone. But let me bring it out here for my live streamers to see on YouTube. It won't be backwards when it's reposted. But here's the cover. I highly recommend this. It said Alex and Brett Harris. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of another awesome book. Most people aren't going to like it. I admit when I was a youth age person, I didn't like it either. So it's literally called I Kiss Dating Goodbye. And I think it's written by their father. Let me get his last name. Well, I mean, his name is Harris, obviously. I think it's Joshua. I wrote it down. And you know what? I figured out what the problem is. I pulled out the wrong notebook. So give me a second so I can get the actual right notes in front of me. Very frustrating when you have so many notebooks with so many ideas. Oh, yes, I think his name is Joshua Harris. You know what? I forgot. I have the technology and I'm capable of looking it up. Yes, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. Very, very interesting concept. It's also coming from a Christian perspective. Like I said, most people don't want to hear that. But let me focus more importantly on. Just wanted to get his name. Okay, yes, Joshua Harris. So that's more for I guess college age and young adults. But actually at this age, decade since I've browsed through that book realistically. So, but I'm just going to focus on the one called Do Hard Things. And let me read the title page. It says, A Teenage Rebellion Against Low Expectations. And the forward is by Chuck Norris. And I'm about to bring back all those Chuck Norris memes. Um, yeah, I think one of my favorite ones is Chuck Norris is the reason why Waldo is hiding. So I find that one hilarious. I can never get over that one. And I'm sure you guys can pull out a whole bunch of other Chuck Norris ones as well. Seriously, though, where is that notebook? It's like, I don't know, things are just getting up and walking away on their own. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let us go back to the show, though. Get back to my focus. I'm very grateful to be here in this opportunity. Let me just check out here. Thankfully, I do have my notes over here. Thanks be to God for being organized and being prepared. Definitely cannot complain about that. Okay, so last time on the last episode, Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. I briefly seeing in our culture, in our society, the um, the low expectations and the fight for life. When we talk about abortion issues, when we talk about being pro life, one of the things that most people don't want to hear about is like having to deal with the repercussions of, you know, the decisions to have sex. Everyone wants the freedoms that we have, consequences. Some of them aren't as, happy as you'd want them to be, or definitely if you're not expecting to have a baby, that's definitely an inconvenience and a burden. And most people aren't willing to step up and do the hard things in life. So it starts at a young age to get this mindset of rising to the occasion and like doing more. That's what's expected of you. It's really difficult to think about that, because we have most teenagers. Just the fact that we have this expression teenager, it's kind of like, what exactly are you? You're not a child and you're not an adult, and we're giving you a pass to just kind of like just do whatever. We watched all those movies in high school about high school. We watched all the shows on TV about junior high and what to expect. We watched all the cartoons as children, like the Magic School Bus, about kids going to school, and we're seeing all these standards. And that's just what we've been trained to do. You go to school, you listen to your teacher, you go home, you do your chores, and you're allowed to go party on the weekends and go hang out. And now we have kids with smartphones and tablets and any type of convenience and luxury you could think of. And once upon a time, it was like you didn't need someone to remind you to do like the chores. Um, there wasn't a question of like you were treated either as a child or an adult. There was no middle ground, and we're so used to just, hey, you know what? You don't really need to worry about too much. Just do your best. Everyone's a star. They're giving out awards for every small accomplishment that you make. Everyone gets a trophy. Those type of concepts where it's like, do the best you can, and just kind of like, whatever. And people are just, they don't expect more from you. They don't expect more from the kids, and they don't expect more from themselves. So we have this mindset of shirk off your responsibilities, tune it out, not that big a deal. You can get to it. You'll have time to do it. You can get that later. And then now we're experiencing people in their 30s trying to live like they're in high school still, and then they're trying to enjoy and hang on to their youth so much more than we've seen in past generations, where the concept of growing up is like, or having more responsibilities outside of your comfort. That's the norm. And this book was written, unfortunately, like I want to say like 10 years ago it was written. And the things that they were trying to warn people about at that era, in that time frame, is what we're seeing now, where people are just completely burnt out. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're doing it. They don't have any motivation to do more. And as I ramble on and call out these problems, I hope you realize that I'm also talking to myself too. Whenever I do these musings and random, whatever you want to call them, commentaries, um, I'm thinking out loud, and I'm also critiquing myself. I mean, that's why I'm reading this book. Trust me, I'm not reading it for your health. I'm reading it for my own. So this is what I've observated, and this is what I'm relaying to you guys. I'll probably finish it by the end of the week, God willing. I've already taken a lot from it. I wanted to share a little excerpt from it. Um, this is my little, I guess, promo, because it hit home. It was just so well written, and it's not even for teenagers. It's just for any person at this point in your life. Um, just simply talking about, also, if you're a Christian, the message that he was saying. A lot of us focus on doing things like, or avoiding things that are bad, and we're known for things that we don't do rather than things that we should do. Most Christians like, oh yeah, well, I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that, so I'm a good person. And it's like, okay, well, congratulations, you're not doing quote unquote bad things, but are you doing your best? Are you going and striving and trying to serve God's kingdom more? Let me just read this little excerpt here. Okay, Mary is a junior in high school, still a Christian. She proudly puts the rest the idea that Christians are stupid and unpopular by being head of her class and co-captain of the cheerleading squad. Her parents, teachers, and youth pastor all have big plans for her, and Mary has big plans for herself. But because things come easily for her, she's become comfortable with her standout status. She doesn't have to tell herself she's great because other people will do it for her, even when she hasn't done anything particularly difficult. She's above average even without even trying to. Sorry. So she sees no reason to push herself. So Mary has fallen prey to the curse that low expectations place on talented people. She has gotten stuck doing what comes easily. Even things that are easy for her are impressive to others. In her mind, she has already arrived. She has not or never explored the true extent of her potential. So there's a quote here by this great, what's his name? Spurgeon, is that his name? Gosh, yes, Spurgeon. All right. Trying to fast forward to this really part. Okay, yeah, so we got back to Mary, and then she says, the students who have written to us recognized that they weren't being pushed to their highest potentials. They realized that God's standard is not for us to be the godliest person in youth group filled with half-hearted Christians, but to be holy because he is holy. God's standard is not for us to be our teacher's best helper, but to be a servant of all. And that's really what's difficult too, because most people, they think to themselves, um, hey, as long as I impress my boss, as long as I impress my teacher and I can get by, everyone's happy and content, that's good enough. And that should be good enough for me. And for some people, yeah, that's cool. But for many others, you can be doing more, and you should be doing more. And it starts with small little steps, making personal challenges. It's like, hey, I'm going to do not even just for myself, but for the benefit of everyone else in the long run, sacrificing a little bit of your convenience and luxuries, um, fitting your time wisely, helping and finding other ways to really plug yourself into. And how we have a generation of people who are severely, they're offended by being challenged to think, or if you have a different opinion, not being able to have a discussion with the person without them having, severe emotional effects from it. That type of debilitating sense of feeling, I don't want to necessarily call it a weakness, but you are easily affected more so. So I guess, you are weakened by a low emotional state, by not being able to cope with someone challenging your thoughts, not even your actions. So we can't even, if your mind is completely debilitated by an opposing thought, the idea for asking you to do something more for the sake of someone else is going to be challenging in itself. But yet we have a lot of people who are struggling with this, and the concept of like working harder from an early age, was not given to a lot of us. The school systems really, I feel, just kind of watered things down for us. They've definitely babied things for us and dumbed things down. The whole thing, like you would think, like, do your best would be something also like we tend to kind of shirk off and go, I did the best I can, it's good enough, it's good enough. And sometimes no, that's not good enough. You can do more. And I'm also talking to myself, so I'll kind of get off that subject because I understand it's life's hard, you know, it really is. And people have their different reasons for why they're not excelling at a certain pace as another person. And one of my biggest things too is I like to emphasize. Let me go ahead and just submit that on there. I do have to emphasize realistically, we cannot compare one person's crisis to another. So as I sit here and say, we can do more, we need to raise the bar, raise standards and expectations, I also need to put the disclaimer that people are going through some things right now. And I'm not saying like, you haven't done your best. No, I'm not talking to you. You know who, if you are convicted by this message, then you know who you are. And I'm not talking to everyone. I'm talking to the people, myself included, who know that they can do more. But trying to go over some mental hurdles, and we're getting there. So, one day at a time. But big thing now, really emphasize, and speaking of doing more and doing your best and excelling and taking things to the next level, and like the book is titled, Do Hard Things. I started one of my, I would call it podcast. What was it? It was kind of like my pre-podcast like training practice, and it was focusing on dress codes and focusing on following the rules of campus, whether it's college, whether it's high school, whether it's junior high, whether it's your place of employment, why there are dress codes, why there's fashion trends, and why there is a uniform. So the first time I mostly talked about the female's perspective and why um, they've kind of done a serious disservice to a lot of people, but especially a lot of women, the feminist movement. They don't give you the full story. They tell you, be yourself, be beautiful, put yourself out there, let the world see you. And like, this is absolutely true. You should be very confident in your skin and be secure in who you are. But we need to find the delicate balance. And they also don't tell you time and place. They don't tell you, hey, you know what, when you're at school, when you're at work, you need to be focused on what you're doing and where you're at and what you're supposed to be doing. They don't tell you that. They just tell you, oh, be yourself. Here's all these fashion trends, and they thrust this on you through the commercials and the music and the videos and everything in the magazines. You see it everywhere. And it's a lot of skin, it's a lot of sexuality, it's a lot of lustfulness and just um, eye candy, essentially. And that's what it is. And the thing is, again, tell you to be yourself. Unfortunately, though, that's not the best advice when we're talking about external things. Many young women out there do not, because I was a victim of this too, they do not realize that just a woman being a woman is a beautiful thing in itself. You are genuinely just a beautiful person. Um, so naturally, men are going to be attracted to you simply because you are a female. And that is not anything good or bad, it's not right or wrong, it just is. Um, so that's something that we have to realize and take into account and respect that simple reality, that biological fact, and vice versa. Men are more visual, more viscerally visual, whatever you want to say, or however you want to put it. This is proven fact. And there's a difference of the sexes and the genders. I know that a lot of people are pushing this gender fluid movement, and I'm not going to object to how you feel, but I'm going to object simply to the fact that there's science and that there's general public, the vast majority for the course of the entire history of mankind. Generally speaking, there's simply two, male and female. For this argument, we're going to focus on male and female, and there's differences, plain and simple. Just biological stuff. Not trying to offend anyone. You can feel any way you want. I have a lot of respect for Caitlyn Jenner. I think she said that it was more difficult to come out as a Republican than as a transgender. So there you go. Caitlyn Jenner, if you want to run for governor of California, yes, if you want to run for governor of California, go for it. Go for it. So back to, fashion though. Speaking of women and young women, college campuses, high school campuses, junior high, high school. I forgot that one. All right. Let's talk about why your feelings are hurt, why you're so angry, why you're so triggered when you get called out about how you're dressing. Why? I want to tell you why. Because, like, believe it or not, the people here who are trying to, enforce these rules, they really care about you, and you do not know how much worth and value you truly have just genuinely just being yourself. It's the more alluring you are, the more interesting you become. It may not be an initial reaction because people like to see the initial, like, ooh, skin, like, ooh, pretty, like, ooh, we want to see that. Like, it's enticing. Like, our eyes are drawn to it. We like that. That's why it's all over the place. But the thing is, though, if you learn to preserve that and keep it sacred, because like it is, make it exclusive, make it rare, make yourself like, I've been kind of using this expression, we like Wonder Woman. Well, make yourself a genuine Wonder Woman. Like, make them wonder about you. Like, seriously, it's a psychological thing. You give them everything they want up front, they take advantage, they have fun, and they don't really respect it. They don't really think about you that much afterwards. It's more like, what can I get out of this person? What can I, just even looking. People enjoy just looking. What can I get out of from just visually enjoying you? Taking things from you without even really appreciating who you are as a person. Like, you're so focused on the external things, and that's what people are focused on. And oftentimes, you aren't really able to, your true self isn't really able to be shown. Your true entity, your true essence isn't readily available because you're so focused on the outside, so focused on the immediate, like, oh, right now, like, that's the best, hottest thing right now. And then who you really are isn't really taken into account. That's a problem that many women find themselves getting caught up in, is like, how can I attract so much of the attention and focus? And they don't emphasize like the timing and where you're at, and even why you necessarily need it. You need the confirmation. So let me confirm with you guys and give you confirmation if you don't believe it. Maybe just do a social experiment and try it. Finding more ways to be fashionable and trendy, but genuinely covering up and following the dress codes and standards, realizing that, yeah, your feelings are gonna get hurt. It's unfair. I'll just flat out say it. There are some things that are generally unfair. I have been in positions where, like, we were told, hey, just be yourself, go out there. And unfortunately, the reality is that in certain circumstances, if you don't know time and place, the way people spread up at the same time, if you twist it around and you realize, hey, let me change it out, change the perspective. Why is it that this is unfair? It's like, oh, because, okay, as a woman, like, I need to step up to a higher standard, step up to the pedestal, and be above, not as in a thought process of like, because I'm a woman, I'm better than you, as in character. No, we're not saying you're better, but because you are a woman and that you have such great attributes and talent and ability, different than a man. It's not saying a man doesn't have talent and abilities and attributes, but yours are different. They're different, and they need to be celebrated and praised and acknowledged. Um, just plain fact that just because you possess the ability to carry a life, and because generally speaking, physically not as strong, um, you definitely deserve to be protected by someone who is stronger. If a man is able to do something better, whether it's physical strength, and it's to do what his job is naturally to keep other people safe. Again, this is just going off basic biology, generalities. Um, that's what the expectation needs to be, like, protecting and preserving at all stages. You don't have to just be, a father or husband. If you are a man and you are seeing that a woman is being harassed or taken advantage, you have this opportunity now to, like, as we're talking about, that's one of the issues that we're having in society, is like, we're so complacent with oh, well, that's just how girls are, that's what they do, or that's what women, that's how they dress. And the guys turning around and they're enjoying it and they like it, and women like the attention. You're getting the immediate gratification, you're getting all the chemicals in the brain and all the stimuli, and we're so focused and addicted to those rewarding chemicals in the brain, the chemical exchanges, that we're really not getting genuine, true connections with people. We're not getting to the heart and soul of these relationships and understanding the differences. And it's not for a competition, it's complementary. You're not complimenting each other because we're so focused on essentially, like looking good, trying to impress, trying to get attention. And like again, me, I've already been through high school. A lot of people have already been through high school. We hear these stories. A lot of these kids, teenagers, young adults are like tired of hearing it. And I'm telling you, like, dude, it really pays off to genuinely say, hey, you know what, this isn't the time or place for me to be looking like this or acting this way. This is place of learning and an opportunity and all these corny stuff that you really don't want to hear, but I'm trying to tell you it's because you're so damn perfect and wonderful just the way you genuinely are, and you do not need to get the um, unnecessary, unwanted harassment and sexual harassment from peers. And also, it's really not fair to the young men. That's another thing too, because again, they're different than us. It's really not fair for you to thrust your the physical image that you're implanting and imprinting on people's minds. A lot of the guys, there's some people out there, some young men who would definitely not like to be tempted by beautiful women. They would just like to go to school and learn, or they like to just focus on their sports, their FFA, their entertainment design, their shop class, whatever they're doing, hang out with their friends, and they don't want to be bombarded with all the stuff. There's people out there who are just like, hey, you know what? I wish girls would cover up and like not sell themselves so short. Like you're worth so much more. And so going back to, you know, just uniforms in general, it's like that's one of the things that we don't really think about. What are the benefits for dress codes? Just think for a couple of seconds, Again, a lot of people do not like, especially young people. Um, I understand to some junior high school kids. Um, it's like the best way for them to see what you're actually doing, not how you look necessarily. And the thing is, we as humans naturally fall into our own uniforms. Very rarely do people truly branch out and become. And this is more geared towards obviously high school and college campuses, but you have the look. You always have the classic grunge or the punk rockers. You have the people who wear the country look, who are genuine farmers. You have the prep, the people who keep up with the I guess what do you call them, the Abercrombie and Fitch crowd. And do people still wear anchor blue? Is that still a thing? I remember old baby. More of the prep squads, the jocks, of course. You got the sports athletes, the outfits that other people in this particular group of people wear. So we naturally fall into uniforms to kind of connect with people who have the same thoughts. And again, nothing bad, nothing wrong with that, but a lot of people are opposed to wearing a school. I don't know time and place, what hat you need to wear for what particular position or vocation that you've been called into. One of the reasons why like I'm adamant like telling people, young adults especially, one of the problems that a lot of people had, myself included, and this is why we wanted to rebel so much, and let me give you a little bit of peace of mind. It's genuinely feeling like you're going to run out of time. Like you seriously will not have time to enjoy your life and have fun and experience things being yourself. That's the fear. So, one's, hey, this is my opportunity to do it now. It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe we should just consider like what our parents have told us, what other people have told us. Like, you will have time in the future to express yourself and be yourself. And it's difficult to accept that, to get your mind to like, hey, you know what, I actually kind of believe that person. Like, let me just really get what I can get out of the school and not think this is the best part of life. This is not high school. For some, it is the best part or the highlight. a very, very important milestone. And for many others, it could just simply, finding your soulmate, getting married. For others, it could be finding the dream career or dream car that you've always wanted, or accomplishing some great goal. There's a lot of things going on after high school. So if you're focused on like, hey, I want to just express myself and be myself, it's not gonna probably not a good in time, not good use of time. Just gonna say that, like, just seriously get all the information you can as fast as possible, dude, and get out and have a plan. So if you keep tuning into some of these streams, I'll have lots of tools and tips. Just kind of like just focus, get yourself focused, and make a plan, and get out. Don't worry about it. A lot of your friends and peers, thanks God for technology, you'll be able to stay in touch with them. And I'm also very interested in seeing what's going to happen with this new fall season, fall and winter, the different types of strains and strands of the virus going around. Very, very curious to see how many campuses are going to stay open, actually. So another reason not to worry so much is, hey, you know what? We don't know what the future holds, so why don't we just, like the book says, do hard things and actually try to really, really follow the rules and expectations, myself included. Everyone knows I'm stubborn, and I'm struggling with this one. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But yes, the book is titled "Do Hard Things," and I'm like, I'm getting to it. Dang, yeah, all up in it. Anyway, so I think oh, sorry, I need to have some water with me or something. Um, I think a lot of people, like I said, it's very, very difficult for I don't even know if that one was saved right. Oh well. Sorry, not too important. But again, like I say, when I come over here talking and rambling, kind of just talking to myself because I know I need this advice as well. So talked about already, dude. Everyone across the board, kind of raising the standards and expectations. But um, reason being, too, that we need to focus on this is holiday season. As the holidays are approaching, and things in the country and the nation and the world are changing drastically through different natural disasters, through flooding and storms, fires, earthquakes, countless things that are plaguing different parts of the country. I just wanted to emphasize now, as we talk about raising the standards and expectations, really being mindful and more intentional of what we're actually doing and why we're doing it. If it requires you to spend extra and just start making little plans for the previous, making notes about the previous day, things you already accomplished, and then making plans about the following day. Um, those little small steps, and also, like I said, for me, Christmas coming up. It's kind of early. Everyone's like, you're always ahead of the game. And I'm like, there's so much going on. If you really, really examine your own personal life and you look at your neighbors or you look at what's going on in the media, it's so easy to seriously get caught up. We're talking about fashion trends and dress codes and people not working at their hardest capacity because they don't have to or they don't want to. Um, it is so easy for us to get caught up in the expression, keeping up with the Joneses. It's so easy for us to waste all of our money unnecessarily on things we don't need, being impulsive. Like you see a commercial and you suddenly want something, and then you cough up what little change you have, and then you're in debt or overdrawn or not budgeting, or health habits are not the best and you are being affected negatively by it, your sleep's all messed up. what have you. Relationship with peers aren't the best, fighting constantly depressed or anxiety, um, dealing with insomnia or controlled substance things. It's a lot of things going on plaguing the nation. So before, we know it, we're going to already be getting ready for the holidays and stuff. And instead of getting completely caught off guard by them, because like again, we mentioned earlier, we don't know what's going on with this pandemic. We don't know what's going to happen with these natural disasters, potential, outages, things not working. We've seen what happened last year and what's already going on. So always kind of have in the back of your mind a plan, a form of communication with people. Why not, kind of think about it now and make a plan for it. Have fun during the holidays as much as you can, and also be just mindful. Like, why am I celebrating this? What is the reason for these holidays that we're here with one another? So that is pretty much my closing thoughts on plan it out, write it out, make some notes, and think about the holiday season and what motivates us to do what we do, why we're doing it, and really trying to understand who we are, why any of this matters. And if you're not a Christian, you don't know who Jesus is, if you don't have any faith, um, highly encourage you to look into that as well. Definitely look into that. Oh man, I'm not even looking at the camera over here on my Facebook stream. Sorry, guys. Oh well. Oh well. Life goes on. And like I said, um, I think since I mentioned it already, that book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye, I think I'll definitely check that one out and browse through it and see if it's worth doing a book club maybe. I don't know. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, pretty much nothing else to say. So I will let everyone go. Um, we kind of talked about some heavy issues, so I was playing devil's advocate for pro-choice women, pro-choice men. Um, Also, the reality of a failed worldviews and some possible remedies, and the remedies were all of us collectively working towards working harder, raising the expectations and standards, especially in the schools, especially in our personal lives, especially calling out the Christians too. It's one thing to be, oh yeah, I'm a good Christian. I don't do this, that, and the other. Okay, well, look, okay, so what do you do? Are you known for what you do? You know, and if you can't, I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking to the people who are like, hey, you know what? If there's something I can do more, whether it's praying, whether it's sending greeting cards to people, pen pals. Another thing too, as I was saying earlier about prepping for the holidays and why you're doing things, it's a great opportunity to reach out. If you are experiencing anxiety, if you're not a person who wants to go out and socialize anymore, um, find some ways to maybe reach out to people in different ways, pen pals, things like that. So if you're a Christian out there and you find some things to do and you can't leave the house or you don't want to leave the house, consider writing letters, pen pals, and or praying more for people, things like that. So I hope whenever you're reading this, hearing this, or seeing this, that you have a good day, a good night, or good evening, and take care. And I'll be in touch with you. And I hope again that if you can't take anything from this, I'm sorry and I apologize. I'm very grateful to be here, and take care.